very much, Madhav. It's turned out to be a grim, grim night here in the national capital. Exactly 4 hours ago, we first got reports and pictures of a high-intensity blast in the heart of Old Delhi, in the Red Fort area. Since then, there are some details, at least as far as the timeline of the explosion is concerned, that have emerged. But the one question that has still not been answered so far is whether this was a terror strike, a terror incident or not. Mostly top officials who have spoken have been tight-lipped. Home Minister Amit Shah visited the site of the blast. He went to the hospital, the LNJP hospital, where 24 people, injured people, have been admitted. 8 people have died in the Delhi blast. He's saying that all possibilities are open. The probe is being done to investigate every angle of this blast. Let's first begin by hearing Home Minister Amit Shah.
आज शाम करीब 7 बजे दिल्ली में लाल किले के पास सुभाष मार्ग ट्रैफिक सिग्नल पर I-20 हुंडई गाड़ी में एक ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ब्लास्ट के कारण आसपास की कुछ गाड़ियां और कुछ मार्ग पर जा रहे लोग भी इंजर्ड होने के समाचार हैं। प्राथमिक सूचना जो मिली है उसमें कुछ लोग हताहत भी हुए हैं। ब्लास्ट की सूचना आते ही 10 मिनट में दिल्ली क्राइम ब्रांच, दिल्ली स्पेशल ब्रांच की टीमें स्पॉट पर पहुंची है। NSG और NIA की टीम FSL के साथ अभी गहन जांच करने का शुरू किया है। आसपास के स्थान के सभी CCTV कैमरा और बाकी सब चीजों की जांच के आदेश दे दिए हैं। मेरी CP दिल्ली से भी बात हुई है, स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज से भी बात हुई है। CP दिल्ली और स्पेशल ब्रांच के इंचार्ज स्पॉट पर मौजूद हैं। हम सभी संभावनाओं को तलाश रहे हैं और सभी संभावनाओं को ध्यान में रखकर इसकी गहन जांच की जाएगी। सभी ऑप्शन की तुरंत जांच होकर नतीजा जो आएगा, जांच हम जनता के सामने रखेंगे। मैं कुछ ही देर में स्पॉट पर भी जा रहा हूं और अस्पताल में भी मैं तुरंत जाऊंगा।
This is big breaking news coming in, a big update. Was the Delhi blast a terror strike? Right now, sources are telling us that at least initial investigations are pointing that way. Initial investigations, according to sources, are establishing this as a terror attack. More importantly, security agencies, as we speak, are questioning the 2 doctors who have been arrested in Delhi's Faridabad, Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Adil. What we are being told is that while it's not very clear, Priyank, joining us on the broadcast, he's getting us this information. The kind of explosives used have not been ascertained so far. What seems to be emerging is that there is a possibility of the Faridabad arrests and the terror raids that have been carried on across the country since this morning being linked to what happened in the evening in Delhi. Priyank, what more details are you learning?
See, obviously need to see that there is a particular pattern on which the agencies have been probing this particular case is the pattern of Jaish-e-Mohammed, which is Sati working as a proxy of the ISIS. They have a pattern of 3 months of attack. Pahalgam attack, then exactly after 3 months, we had Mahadev operation. And now after 3 months and 2 days, this incident has happened. In the last 1 week, the security agencies have finally managed to arrest 7 individuals, including 3 of the doctors, and from their position, they have recovered huge amount of explosive. What security apparatus have been suggesting that they have been questioning Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Adil. Muzammil, who was arrested from Faridabad, and Adil, who was arrested from Saharanpur in connection with this particular blast, and the initial investigation establishes that it was a terror attack. The kind of explosive which was used in this attack is yet to be known because that will be a by the forensic team. But it is for sure that the blast was of a very high intensity, and the blast is linked to the Faridabad is what is being probed. On the other side, there are two individuals who are being detained and questioned by the security agencies. One from Rajiv Chowk area in Gurugram, and the second one who is being questioned in Okla, who are supposed to be the owner and the previous owner of this particular vehicle. So on this direction, the agencies have been working. Home Minister Amit Shah has given a clear-cut indication that the DGs of the NIA and the Delhi police will be working in close coordination with the NSG team, so that in any kind of anti-terror operation, the NSG team can be roped in. Home Minister Amit Shah will be reaching his residence, and there is a high possibility that there could be another high round of meeting which is expected to happen amidst the investigation which is going on.
In fact, as we speak, Delhi's Chief Minister has now reached the LNJP hospital where most of the injured have been admitted. At least 9 people dead this evening, and the fear, Priyank, is that the death toll will rise. 20 plus people injured. Can I ask you, on what basis right now are your sources claiming that this is definitely a terror attack and there is definitely a link to the Faridabad module? What are the clues that they have found on the ground that seem to be pointing to what they are saying?
Point number one, the Faridabad module was part of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, which is having a pattern of 3 months of consecutive blasts in the past as well. Point number two, the kind of impact which is caused to the adjacent vehicle, the nearby vehicle, which was also passing through on the sub lanes, is also impacted because of the blast, which cannot happen in case of low intensity blast. The point number three is no sharpness and no sharp injuries which have been caused through the disease, which have been suggested by the doctors, is clearly suggesting that the explosive could be of a very high intensity. So this is a particular pattern on which the agencies have been probing on. You can imagine that within a week time, 2,900 kgs of explosive has been recovered. So even if 1 kg of explosive could have been left behind, with several individuals who belong to the same module, can use this is a high possibility on which the agencies are working as of now.
Over the last 4 days, the Jammu and Kashmir police, along with police in other states, has actually arrested 4 doctors, highly radicalized doctors, from whom arms and ammonium nitrate has been found. The Faridabad module that we are talking about, 2,900 kgs of ammonium nitrate found from that one doctor, along with an AK-47. 4 arrests, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 4 days. And this evening, you have a blast ripped through Delhi's heart, Old Delhi. My other colleagues continue to be with us. Kritika, you're with us. You're joining us from the LNJP hospital. Isha continues to be at the blast site. Priyank, tracking all investigations. Do stay with us. Kritika, I believe that Delhi's Chief Minister is at the LNJP hospital right now. Can you tell us, in terms of the number of people who have died, in terms of the number of people who are injured and seriously injured, what is the LNJP hospital saying? It's going to be a long, long night there.
Well, unfortunately, yes, Shreya. In fact, the Delhi Chief Minister has entered the hospital premises now. She will also be taking a stock of both the medical assistance that can be provided to the injured, the tracing of the deceased as well as meeting any possible relatives also that might have been able to reach now. The list has been released by the hospital. It has details of about 8 people who have now died. 1 body part is also mentioned, and that is why the figure is 9 as far as the list is concerned. 2 people have been identified, both one resident of Uttar Pradesh and the other a resident of Delhi. Other than that, all 6 remain unknown at the moment. The age of those who have deceased also ranges from late, in fact, 20s to early 50s as well. So definitely a lot of trauma here for the families. The figures still unknown. As far as the injured are also concerned, we've also seen visuals of the Home Minister Amit Shah, who was here just a short while before, also speaking and in fact taking stock of the situation inside the LNJP hospital. He's also been speaking to the injured there, who again in a lot of shock and anguish as well over there. Currently the Chief Minister is also meeting. We'll also be hearing from the Delhi Home Minister, from Mr. Ashish Sood as well, on the situation as well as on the security beef up as well, giving you some visuals also from the hospital currently. We're standing right outside, in fact, the gate of the hospital. Inside, you can see the team of the convoy, rather, of the Chief Minister also present. The list of deceased, as far as concerned, which has details of about 8 people and 1 unidentified body part also. So this is also something which drivers of the ambulance that we were speaking to earlier had also told us. That when they had reached the spot in about 10 minutes of the information reaching them, what they also saw on spot were in fact fragments of body parts all across the site of the blast as well. They were saying that they had to first collect it. One vehicle was carrying 1 part after they have been identified, and that is how the entire procedure also happened. We were also hearing information about other injured as well, a lot, some of whom were also currently being reported to be in a grave situation as well. Their update will also be released by tomorrow morning, it seems, currently. So definitely these updates we will be tracking from the Lok Nayak Hospital. It is yet to know whether the Chief Minister will also be giving a short brief to the media on her assessment of the situation as well, because this is something which, remember, has triggered even more deployment in other states and other, in fact, tourist spots as well.
Let me go across to Isha as well. She's joining us live from the blast site. Isha, about 4 hours ago, we got the first pictures of two cars that were burning. The first set of information that came in was that there has been a blast in an I-10, and subsequently another car has caught fire as well because of that, and then there have been multiple blasts. Post that, we saw pictures of not just these 2 cars, but at least 7 cars damaged, completely damaged, and the pictures told us that the intensity of the blast was very high. Can I ask you what the situation is on the ground right now? Because I believe as we speak, a multi-agency probe is underway where you are.
Right, Shreya, we are reporting from the blast site. We are 150 meters away from where the blast took place. In fact, we are at gate number 4 of Lal Kila metro station. But to reiterate how much of the intensity of the blast was, requesting my camera person Radhe to show you the visuals here of glass which has scattered here. And in fact, we are away from where the blast took place. We are nowhere close, and you can still see that glass is shattered here, is lying on the ground, and that speaks volumes about the intensity of the blast that took place. This entire road, we are seeing there are several ambulances still here, which does signify that there are still bodies that are being pulled out of the rubble. Towards the other side as well, that is where the blast site is. That is where all the action is. This is a multi-agency probe, like you were pointing out, Shreya. The FSL teams on spot, NSG commandos also present there, along with the Delhi police, the CRPF as well. The Home Minister Amit Shah just visited the spot an hour ago, and he took stock of the situation. He also went to the Lok Nayak Hospital, and as we speak, we can see, in fact, on our screens also, we can see that a car has been completely charred, and we spoke to eyewitnesses as well, Shreya. And what eyewitnesses did tell us is that they were sitting here and there was not one explosion. They heard multiple explosions. At least 4 or 5 explosions were heard. So this was something that was very well intended. This was a very planned explosion that took place. However, we do not have confirmation if we can call it a terror attack as of now, but it is definitely pointing to something way more serious from the looks of it. You can also see the NSG commandos currently also on the site of it, ensuring that this entire area is properly cordoned off. You can see this entire area is being safely cordoned off. You can see a lot of security personnel also still present here. The death toll currently lying at 8, like our colleagues were also pointing out, like also did state that there is still identification of the dead that is currently taking place. The injured are being treated. Delhi Chief Minister.
Isha, give me a moment here. I'm just going to introduce our guest this evening as well. Major General Dhruv Katoj, Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, and PK Jain, former IPS officer, joining us on the broadcast. So is Bhavtosh. Before I come to you, I quickly want to talk about what the eyewitnesses have been telling us through this evening. Let's hear from the eyewitnesses, then we go to Bhavtosh and our guests.
भाई साहब, क्या नाम है आपका? रिशान जी, ये चोट किस तरह से आई है आपको?
भाई मेरे आगे गाड़ी चल रही थी, कार कम से कम 1-2 फुट की दूरी पे थी, उसकी गाड़ी में बम था, जाने क्या था वो फटा था।
कौन सी गाड़ी थी?
एसेंट थी, जाने स्विफ्ट डिजायर थी जी।
तो कितने लोग सवार थे उस गाड़ी में, कुछ पता चला?
धमाके की आवाज आई 4-5, फिर एकदम कई जने वैसे जल गए आसपास में जो थे वो फटे।
कितनी गाड़ियां डैमेज हुई हैं यहाँ पे? कितनी?
2-3 गाड़ी।
वो जो कार सवार थे उनकी क्या हालत कैसी है?
कुछ तो गंभीर है, 8-10 तो गंभीर है, 20-25 जनों को वैसे चोट आई है उनके जैसे कीचड़ों से, कुछ हाथों हाथ खत्म।
कितने बजे घटना घटी है?
7 बजे।
वहाँ पर इतना जोरदार धमाका हुआ है, वहाँ पर इतनी जोरदार तेज आवाज आई कि एकदम से शॉक्ड हो गए। फिर मेरे पास में फोन्स भी आए काफ़ी सारे। हमने कहा क्या हुआ, हमने कहा धमाका हुआ है। उसके बाद हमने दूर से आके देखा, हमने दूर से, हम क्योंकि करीब में जा नहीं सकते थे। फिर यहाँ पे साइड में हमने देखा इंसान का हाथ पड़ा हुआ, पूरा फटा हुआ। फिर आगे उस साइड देखा तो फेफड़ा पड़ा हुआ इंसान का। फिर इतना, ये आदमी सोच भी नहीं सकता कि एकदम से हुआ तो क्या हुआ इंसान।
मेरा नाम राजधर पांडे।
क्या हुआ सर, आप क्या बता पाएंगे? कुछ
नहीं जी, हम कुछ नहीं, हम ये देखे, लपट देखा। हाँ। अपने छत से देखा, तभी मैं नीचे उतर के आया कि जरा देखूं कहाँ है क्या। और तो पता नहीं
किसी तरह की कोई आवाज आपने सुनी?
हाँ, बहुत जोर आवाज आई, बिल्डिंग खिड़की हिल गई, खिड़की हिल गई।
आपका घर कितना दूर है?
ये रहा गुरुद्वारे के पास।
क्या हुआ?
जिस टाइम आवाज आई, धमाका हुआ तो मैं दुकान पे बैठा था, पीछे मेरी दुकान है, यहीं पे दुकान है, यहीं पे तो मैं चेयर पे बैठा हुआ था। एकदम से अचानक इतनी तेज धमाका हुआ कि मेरे लाइफ में इतनी तेज मैंने अपनी आवाज के भी नहीं सुना। धमाके के दहल पे मैं 3 बार गिरा हूँ, उठाऊँ फिर गिरा हूँ, उठा से धरती फटने वाला है, इतनी तेज धमाका हुई है। ठीक है, तो मैं दुकान छोड़ करके एकदम से भागा। मेरे साथ भी बहुत सारी पब्लिक भागी, एक पे एक पब्लिक गिर रही थी। उस टाइम ऐसा लग रहा था कि हम कुछ पल में, अब दूसरा धमाका हुआ था, हम मरने वाले हैं। ऐसा लग रहा कि हम बचने का चांस, ऐसा लग रहा कि मौत को मुंह से देख रहे हैं, इस तरह से नजारा था।
There's breaking news coming in. The I-20 car in which the blast took place, where its RC document has now been accessed by Times Now. Its owner's name is Mohammed Salman, but he says he has been questioned already, and he has said that he had sold off the car. The last owner of the car yet remains unidentified, but it seems he was based out of Okhla. Meghna, over to you. What do you have?
Well, this is the RC copy of that elusive I-20 that everyone is going to be now focusing upon, that Bhavtosh Singh, Times Now senior editor, has managed to get for our channel. This is what it says. It says that it is the registered owner of a person named Mohammed Salman. He has already been picked up by the Haryana police. He's already been questioned by the Haryana police. Now, Mohammed Salman has said that he's already sold this car. He sold it to someone who was staying in Okhla, and allegedly after that there was another sale of the same I-20 to someone who was in Haryana. So this is the detail that we have managed to piece together. However, what we've managed to access is the RC which belonged to Mohammed Salman, and this is the registration number 7674, and this is a CY, this is an I-20 that we are talking about, of petrol, and it has been registered. It's got all the details of the chassis number, the engine number, the model number is that of an I-20. All of this, of course, is being probed by the police even as we speak. As we are telling you, Mohammed Salman is with the police, in police custody. He's being interrogated. He says he's already sold it to one owner in Okhla. That person says he sold it to someone in Haryana. We are still trying to figure out who was the current owner of the I-20. That is still to be determined. However, it is an I-20 from the 2013 manufacturing date.
Let me go across to Bhavtosh with that question. Bhavtosh, I guess the one question that everyone wants answered right now is, who was the final owner of the I-20? Who was the one driving it? Has the police been able to identify or zero in on anyone?
Well, as of now, they are still checking. It started with the police recovering the registration plate from the scene of the crime itself, from where we are reporting. When they went to the residence of Salman after gathering the information from the RTO, Salman said that he has already sold off the car earlier. They, in fact, got in touch with the RTO. They reached released another person. So a lot of activities are happening late in the evening. It could be possible that by next 1 or 2 hours they will reach the eventual owner. The question is whether this car real owner is a person in whose car the explosion happened, whether the car was stolen at some point of time, whether once the car was stolen, whether there was a case of theft that was reported. So it would be a long night, not only for the police but for various officials involved in central intelligence agencies. You already have seen the tweets that have been put out by the Home Minister himself. So the Home Minister is the person who is in control of everything. He's the one who in fact is monitoring everything. The Commissioner of the Delhi Police have repeatedly briefed him and also briefed officers and officials in the Intelligence Bureau. So there is in fact a long night ahead for everyone in the Delhi Police as well as in central intelligence agencies. As the bomb detection center would analyze the bomb and submit its report, then it will become very clear as to what exactly happened at 1856 hours or 6:56 p.m. when an explosion took place here at gate number 1 of Chandni Chowk, and when the explosion happened in which at least 8 individuals died.
Bhavtosh, do stay on with us. My guest this evening, Dr. Vikram Singh, I'm going to come to you first. I just want the three of you have been close to explosives. You know what a blast site looks like. You know the different kinds of blasts that do take place across this country. Dr. Vikram Singh, can I ask you your professional assessment of what has happened at Delhi's Red Fort? There is still a question mark over whether this was a terrorist strike or whether this was a CNG cylinder blowing up. Now, you know, my own limited experience tells me that cars don't just suddenly blow up these days. वो पुराने ज़माने में होता होगा, अब नहीं होता. If you look at the circumstances surrounding what has happened in Red Fort, it looks like a terror strike, but right now, even the Home Minister, when he was asked the question, said all angles are being probed. In your professional assessment, what was this?
Good evening, Shreya, and my esteemed co-panelists. I would certainly say that it is too early to indulge in conjectures or guesswork. But yes, questioning the lines of investigation, the probability, and what is the most probably outcome, well, you do not have such explosions like that move the earth, and in fact, with such a terrifying impact. In fact, now it is only a matter of time before the forensic and the spectroscopic analysis come out and indicate the nature of the explosive and the chemical composition of the explosive used, if at all there was an explosive that was used. Now, the possibility of the timing, the location, there are certain things that are clear indicators. I-20, an old car, the original owner seemed to have sold it to somebody. The next person could have sold it to somebody else. Whether it was stolen or not is also a matter of investigation. Things will be out very soon. But to your question, what is the most distinct possibility? The possibility would be, I would certainly request and advise the investigators to keep the terror angle very much alive. Because you very rightly mentioned the Faridabad episode, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the recovery of almost 3 quintals of ammonium nitrate and AK-47, 84 rounds of cartridges. There are clear-cut indicators that JEM had a vibrant sleeper cell in the NCR area. And if they chose to have a blast, they could jolly well have an orchestrated SIP as a blast. And therefore, this line needs to be investigated. I don't say that it is a terror attack or a terror blast. But yes, this is the most credible line that the investigators need to pursue.
It's a very real possibility. PK Jain, as someone who's served extensively in the state of Jammu and Kashmir, now Union Territory, look at the circumstances surrounding what has happened in Red Fort. First, you have Jammu and Kashmir police raid multiple locations across India. In the last 4 days, arrest 4 doctors, 2 arrested from Faridabad, one of them at 2,900 kgs of ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate is a chemical that is used to make IEDs. It is used to make bombs. Then look at this car, this I-20. It's a slow-moving car. It is moving slowly in one of the most congested areas in Delhi. It slows down, stops at a red light, and suddenly bursts. Now, initial information is also telling us that there was not one, but maybe a couple of people inside this car. When you look at this entire sequence of events, sir, and place it in the context of what has been happening for the last 15 days across India, to you, does this look conclusively like a terror strike, or could this also be a CNG blast as is being speculated?
Sure, thank you very much for having me here. First of all, let me correct the record. I never worked in J&K and Delhi. I'm from Maharashtra cadre. And we have seen and experienced blasts like this in the past. You know, you remember the 1993 blasts, to be precise. And Mumbai has been a target of many other attacks also, many other bomb attacks. Now, coming to this particular case, I would actually agree with Dr. Vikram Singh. This is the most probable likelihood in this case is that this is a terror attack. A gas cylinder blast cannot cause the kind of damage that has been caused. The car having been totally mangled, the carrier of the car having been thrown so many meters away, so many other cars getting affected, so many people dying. It does not happen. I have not seen in my life a gas cylinder blast causing this kind of damage. So this is most probably and in all likelihood a terror attack. Now, how and why? Yes, it is being linked to whatever we recovered in J&K, with 2,900 kilos of explosives. In Faridabad, 350 kilos of explosives, 3 AK-47 rifles, one of them in Faridabad, and a whole lot of other chemicals. So it was being planned, certain big hits, not one, but multiple hits were being planned by this module. All across the country, predominantly in North India, it could be J&K, Delhi, NCR area, Haryana, certain other cities in UP, Rajasthan and Gujarat are the likely targets. What happened? What precipitated this particular attack, in my opinion? The investigation is being carried out. Yet the agencies have not made any official statement. But my guess is that because some major part of the module or some part of the module was already arrested by the police, by the investigating agencies. So there's one Dr. Aman who's been still absconding. So all these people were getting desperate. And one of them has caused this particular blast. And in my opinion, we are not seeing the last of it. There could be some more blasts in the country at various places, depending on how much explosives these people are carrying. Somebody or a module or a number of modules collecting 3,250 kilos of explosives in 2 locations only. It can give you the extent of damage that they are capable of carrying out. So the intelligence agencies, the police network across the country has to be extremely careful, and so do the citizens. I would like to rope in everybody. Everybody has to be extremely on their guard.
Okay.
Activate whatever channels they can, collect as much intelligence as they can. The investigation is already in the right direction. The car's owner has been taken into custody, questioned, and all that. All those things will come out.
We don't want to trigger panic here. But I take your point. The fact is that it's not just Delhi that has been put on high alert. Cities across India and Delhi NCR have been put on high alert for good reasons. So this is not a panic trigger that we want any of our viewers to press here. But yes, everyone definitely needs to be vigilant. Dhruv Katoch, I'm going to come to you. But before that, I need to go to the ground because I believe there is a Delhi police official who is now briefing the press. I think we can quickly listen into him.
As of now, I cannot tell you anything. It is under investigation.
किसी गाड़ी में ब्लास्ट हुआ है और कुछ कारों में आग है, उसके ऊपर हमने रिस्पॉन्ड किया था। इनिशियली हमारी 7 यूनिट्स गई थी और 7:29 पर आग पूरी तरह हमने बुझा दी थी। अभी तक हमारे पास कैजुअल्टी की सूचना नहीं है। संभावना है कि कैजुअल्टी हैं इसमें। अभी हम पुलिस के साथ जो है कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हैं इस मामले में, जिससे कि हमें एग्जैक्ट फिगर मिल सके। अभी तक हमारे पास कोई फिगर एग्जैक्ट नहीं है।
एग्जैक्टली कितनी गाड़ियां अभी भी वहां पर मौजूद है?
अभी सारी गाड़ियां वहीं मौजूद हैं। टीम सारी वहीं पर, हमने विड्रॉ नहीं किया है अभी।
Major General Dhruv Katoch, you're joining us on the broadcast as well. Can I ask you what your initial impression is of what we have seen at Red Fort? Again, the same question. While there is enough and more indication that this could be a terror strike, so far there is no official word coming out. And that's also because when a government speaks or a home minister speaks or when the police speaks, you need to be 100% sure. which is why you have the NSG bomb disposal squad on the ground, you have the NIA on the ground, you have, you have the Delhi police on the ground. So right now as we speak, there is a multi-agency probe underway. Some clarity will come in by tomorrow morning, I guess. But in your professional opinion, what does this look like?
Thank you, Shreya. Shreya, the two very senior police officers with great deal of credibility have already spoken. In my view, this is a terrorist attack. Let's have no doubts about it. I totally agree that the police will have to take some time and actually clinch the evidence. But, you don't have a car exploding just like that and killing so many people. It doesn't happen that way. I have seen on the roads, I travel very frequently, practically on a daily basis to Delhi. I have seen cars on fire for overheating or for any other reasons. There's no collateral damage. Nothing happens except to the car. In this particular case, a huge damage has been caused to the environment. That indicates explosives. There have been explosives and they have been initiated. Now, this is one. Number two, in this particular car, there wasn't just one individual traveling as a suicide bomber. There were more than one.
Correct.
As per what has been told to us. Now, that indicates that perhaps, I beg your pardon, perhaps the people traveling in the car were not aware of the explosives in the car. That is a possibility, which of course will also come out. But if it is a suicide bomber, the suicide bombers travel alone. There's no reason for them to travel as a family, get everybody killed. It doesn't really make sense to me. Of course, everything is possible. This is a deliberate attack. It is a deliberate provocation, and there are multiple reasons for it. And I think over the course of the next few days, the investigation will come out.
Give me a minute here. Give me a minute here, gentlemen, because there are some more details that are now emerging on the I-10. The car that blew up, killing at least 9 people. The death toll will rise. There's now a Pulwama link that is emerging to the Delhi blast. Bhavtosh, my colleague, is now reporting that the car, the I-10, that blew up in Delhi actually belonged to a man called Tariq. And where is Tariq from? He is from Pulwama. So, Bhavtosh, Salman, who was in Haryana, sells his I-10 to Tariq in Pulwama, is it? I-20 to Pulwama, to Tariq in Pulwama, is it?
Well, it could be possible that the car was with Tariq, and then it could be possible that the car was stolen from there, because these are very sketchy details. It's still around 3 to 4 hours since this blast has taken place, and agencies are piecing together the information, and it will take them some time before there could be any kind of conclusion. Remember, so far not even an official statement has come out. Home Minister has in fact given a soundbite, and then he has tweeted about it. In fact, he has said it's a very grave incident and that they are looking into all possible angles. But as far as the investigation is concerned, two things have become very clear. That it is an I-10 car, and it was in fact a car that was in the name of Salman. Salman sold this car to Tariq. Tariq is a resident of Pulwama, and the series of events that surround ended with the blast that had taken place at Chandni Chowk. Started with the huge recovery of explosives on Sunday, which was around 360 kgs, and then JNK police informing everyone that the total amount of explosives seized is around 2,900 kgs. And then you have events like what happened in Gujarat, in which an ISIS module was busted, and then at around 6:56 p.m. The Delhi Fire Service received a call in which it was specifically mentioned that there is a blast that has happened, and the impact of the blast was so big that another car came into impact of that blast, and then the unfortunate news that at least 8 to 9 individuals have died in that incident. The police teams are there in the hospital at LNJP. They want that injured get medical treatment and then record the statement. CCTV are being analyzed, but it is a serious incident. That's what the officers are saying. They have not yet said it's a terror incident, but the kind of arrangements that have been made, the NHE personnel are still stationed here, clearly shows that the government is very serious about this entire incident, and it could be possible that an FIR under sections of anti-terror law might be filed.
Okay, Bhavtosh, given the fact that Salman from Haryana sold the car to Tariq from Pulwama, have our agencies been able to track down Tariq? Is he being questioned? Where is he? Do we know anything about that at all?
Well, since Tariq could be the person whose car was then eventually used by someone, or it could be possible, Shreya, that his car was also stolen. Now, we have seen in past in several such cases that the car that is used in a terror incident, whether it is used in such incident, they are generally stolen cars. So before we call him as a person of interest, one has to first get an official reaction from J&K police, because agencies will get in touch with their counterparts in J&K, and it could be possible that Jammu and Kashmir police might say, look, Tariq has filed a case and there is a car that is stolen. So one has to wait and see before Pulwama police, or for that matter J&K police, might come out with a statement saying that Tariq could have said that his car has also been stolen. As of now, the chain is that Salman was the original owner and he sold off the car to Tariq.
Bhavtosh, I need clarity on how many people the police believes, or investigating agencies believe, were in that I-10 that blew up. Was it one? Was it multiple? Was it two? Was it three? Are they saying anything at all?
Well, as of now, what we have gathered is that the car that has been, in fact, the number of injured, if we go by the number of people who have been injured, there were 8 people who were there in the car. As far as the number of deaths that are concerned in this case, they have said that they have identified at least 2 they have identified. 6 remain unidentified and unknown body parts have been recovered. So there is no clarity as to how many people are there in the car. Now, the witnesses say that there could be 3 people in the car. Some have said that there are 4 people in the car, but it is a high impact explosion, Shreya, that has happened. So it is a high impact explosion. So there is no clarity as far as how many people are there. So it is up to the investigating agencies to first analyze the CCTV footage, speak to the injured, speak to the witnesses, and then only come to a conclusion as to how many people are there inside the car, and then give an official information as to how many people are there. The Commissioner of the Delhi Police made a very important statement. He said that what he said is that the car was moving very slowly. Now, it could be possible because of the heavy traffic in this area, the car was moving slowly, because the first traffic signal as far as this area is concerned is right here at the intersection of this area, Bhagirathi Market. So it could be possible that the car that was coming from Kashmiri Gate was anyway moving slowly because of the e-rickshaws that are parked here, and that was the reason why it was moving slowly. But these are all conjectures and theories that we are making. Eventually the case will be investigated by the police. So what we have come to know, the Commissioner of the Delhi Police have said the car was moving slowly, and witnesses are saying that there are 3 people inside the car.
Okay. Bhavtosh, thank you very much for that information. Bhavtosh continues to track investigations in the Delhi blast case. At least 9 people dead, more than 20 people injured. It begins at about 6:55 when the Delhi Fire Department gets a call that in the heart of Delhi, in the heart of Old Delhi at Red Fort, there is a blast that has been reported in a car. It turns out not one car, but 2 cars are on fire. Multiple blasts have been reported, and at least 9 people are dead. The impact of the blast was such that around 6 to 7 vehicles in and around these 2 vehicles, well, there's very little left of that. So that tells you about the intensity of the blast. This was a high intensity blast. There is no doubt about that. This was a blast that took place in an area which is highly congested. This is one of Delhi's most congested areas, Was that deliberate? Possibly so. By when do you think, Dr. Singh, we'll get clarity on whether this was a terror strike or not? Right now, as we said, we are still in the realm of conjecture. An educated guess will be that this is a terror strike if you see the impact on the ground. But what is it that agencies like the NIA or the NSG will be looking at now to determine if this was a cylinder blast or if this actually is a terror blast?
Every blast has a pedigree, whether it was a cylinder or IED. The detailed forensic and spectroscopic analysis chemical examination would tell you the nature of the explosion. Secondly, this is investigation would take across you to many states, primarily Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh and Kashmir. Therefore, what needs to be done perhaps during the course of the night, the investigating agencies will get to the bottom of the change of hands of the I-20 car or the I-10 car, who sold it to whom and under what circumstances, what were the compulsions, who was on the driver's seat. And as General Katoch sir have very rightly mentioned, the probability is that the car could have been rigged as an IET explosive and a timer device was used perhaps to kill and to maim. But that is also a realm of conjecture and it has to be investigated. But the 2 points that will have the criticality would be the pedigree of the blast, depending upon the spectroscopic, chemical and the forensic examination of the explosion, as also the change of hands and who was the last owner of this car.
The last owner is a man called Tariq from Pulwama, or that is what the information as of now at 11:38 seems to suggest. We do not know if Tariq was the man in the car. We do not know if Tariq from Pulwama sold this car to someone else. We also don't know if this car was stolen from Tariq from Pulwama. So all those details are hazy, but the man on your screens right now is Tariq. At no point of time are we trying to suggest that he's the one behind the blast, because we don't have information or proof about that. But what we know is that the I-10, the last owner of the I-10 is this man, Tariq from Pulwama. Sohail, you're joining us on the phone line from Srinagar. What more details are you getting us? Do we know who this Tariq is, whether you've managed to speak to him, and what is he saying?
Well, as of now, what we are picking up from the sources is that this Tariq Ahmad hails from Sambura village of South Kashmir's Pulwama district. Delhi police has in fact shared the information with Jammu and Kashmir police, and now the further investigation and action is being in fact taken into this particular aspect of the case. It's being in fact told by the sources that this particular guy named Tariq had purchased this vehicle from in fact the Haryana area, where one of the vendor who runs basically business under the name and style of Royal Car Zone has basically sold this vehicle to Tariq. And now we will have to wait because the details are sketchy at this point in time. But yes, the individual whose picture we have got in fact have managed to access is Tariq, and he in fact is said to be from Sambura village of South Kashmir's Pulwama district. Delhi basically police and agencies have already alerted Jammu and Kashmir police, and they are working on these leads.
They are working on the leads. Have they managed to get in touch with Tariq? Has he been questioned already? Is he in custody? Do we know anything at all?
Well, as of now, we don't know whether he has been in fact taken into custody or not. But yes, Jammu and Kashmir police in fact is working on this, and things are being identified as of now. What we are picking up from the sources is that this gentleman, this guy Tariq, is from South Kashmir's Pulwama district, and this is something which in fact is getting out. But as in fact the leads and in fact acting on the leads proceeds goes ahead, we are expecting that Jammu and Kashmir will be in fact looking for this guy, and he will be taken into in fact custody. He will be questioned because it's matter of the vehicle that has blasted in Delhi, and the in fact pictures and in fact the information which is coming out suggests that this person had purchased this vehicle from the vendor who runs under the business under the name and style of this car zone, Royal Car Zone. So now, in fact, Jammu and Kashmir police is working on these, leads that Delhi police has already shared with Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, there is a Pulwama link that has now emerged to the Delhi blast. What exactly this link is? Well, the fact is that the car that blew up in Delhi today at Red Fort has been tracked down to Pulwama. The last owner was from Pulwama, a man called Tariq. Again, as I'm saying, we do not know if Tariq was actually involved, whether his car was stolen or whether Tariq sold that car subsequently to someone who was possibly the person behind the blast. All those details, ladies and gentlemen, are still not clear, so let's not jump the gun there. But Major General Dhruv Katoch, the investigations are going to be complicated because this is a car that had changed hands multiple times by the looks of it.
Shreya, I'm thinking of it this way. Here is a car which is blasted. And I assume it is a terrorist attack. All the indications are it is a terror attack. Now, why should 3 people be in that car?
Correct.
It doesn't make sense.
Correct.
The more people in the car, the lesser the chances of a terror attack. So possibly, if there were 3 people in the car, it is being used as a taxi, and they were not aware of any bomb being placed inside. That is possible. I think there's a great deal to be done as far as the investigation is concerned. It is just 4 hours. A great deal has already come out. My compliments to the police forces for a great deal of efficiency has been shown. But I think it will take some time to unravel. But in my view, it is a terrorist attack. There is a very deep motive behind it. And I think over the next a day or two, everything will be uncovered. I've got no doubts about that. And the people who are behind it, they are going to be held accountable. And if it is Pakistan across the border, they must know Operation Sindoor is still ongoing. They should not presume that India is going to stay quiet. No. And this is an accident.
If this is a terror attack, if this is a terror attack, then there is no doubt who is behind it. We know that terror is sponsored from across the border. And if this is a terror attack that has been sponsored by Pakistan, as you rightly point out, Operation Sindoor, very much alive. What we'll see is Operation Sindoor 2.0. PK Jain, the ownership of the car right now is being traced to someone called Tariq in Pulwama. Again, as I said, we do not know whether he's actually involved in the blast, not involved in the blast, whether his car got stolen, etc. But just looking at what we have seen in the last 4 hours, is it now getting a little difficult to explain away what has happened at the Red Fort as simply a case of a CNG cylinder blowing up? Yes, I understand the counter argument that, you don't have suicide bombers who travel in pairs or travel, 3 of them together. It usually doesn't happen. When you have a suicide bomber, the suicide bomber will be alone and he'll be blowing himself up. And he will probably have a well-identified target that he's blowing up with. In this case, eyewitnesses are saying there were about 3 people inside this car. So I understand that logic as well. But right now, given what we have seen in the last 4 hours, is the entire CNG blast theory looking a little improbable to you?
Yeah, absolutely correct. I have already ruled out the possibility of a CNG cylinder blast. Now, my studied guess in this case would be that this is a car which was owned by a person from Pulwama. I am not indicating that he was involved in this case, but if at all he was, this car cannot be used as a taxi. This car, see it in one earlier case in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, we've seen that one car was being used to transport people not to make it look suspicious. So the entire family was traveling in the car. The same car was used in Ghatkopar bomb blast. In this case, now there is a news which is coming out is that 3-4 blasts took place. It could be possible that there were 3-4 different bombs in that car which were to be planted at different locations. and somehow because there was a timer pencil in that, the timer went wrong or something happened. So a blast took place. Guesses could be anything. It could be, on my part, it is a very studied guess that this car was being used for transportation. Now, one more thing in the case of Faridabad seizure, which has come out, how they collected 350 kilos of explosives in that flat was that the car was doing the rounds between Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana repeatedly. It could be the same car. I mean, the investigations are at a very, very nascent stage now. Let us wait for what the police is concluding, how they are progressing with the case. I think it is too early for us to even make educated and studied guess. So let's wait for the development to take place. But one thing I'm sure about, I think with my two co-panelists, is that this is not a case of the CNG cylinder blast. It is certainly 1000% a case of terror attack, Shreya.
Okay, but Dr. Vikram Singh, then how do you explain information that has also come in about the nature of injuries? It is being reported from the ground, number one, that there's been no big crater. And if this was a blast, an explosion, an IED blast, an ammonium nitrate was used, etc., then there would have been a crater. That crater is nowhere there. Number two, there are no shrapnel injuries.
You're right. Shrapnel injuries would come when they are packed with the explosives like nails, ball bearings, other steel material, and other such asbestos pieces. They are the shrapnels. Here, in the case of an explosion, as Mr. P.K. Jain has very rightly mentioned, and there is merit in what he has said by way of conjecture, that this could be an accidental blast, a blast that was planned for somewhere else and it triggered off because of a faulty timer or perhaps a timer that went wrong. Now, under these circumstances, all the sharpness would be from the blasting car itself. And therefore, whether it was an accidental blast or whether it is, the probability continues to be that it was some terror attack, a planned terror attack, or perhaps plan that went awry and the plan that did not work. Perhaps it was some kind of a self-goal explosion that happened before its time. But whatever it is, the pedigree of the blast, the shrapnels are not there, but that can be explained that every blast will give you the impact on the basis of the clustered and the closed atmosphere, the surroundings, and the inflammable material with which the explosion and the explosives are surrounded. In this case, it was just the car. So the rexine, the acrylics, and only those material would be perhaps incidental to the incendiary propensities and also the injuries. The absence of the shrapnels would go to show that perhaps it was just the explosion and the shrapnels were not inbuilt like ball bearings, nails, and other material like that.
Because when you have, an IED that is packed or an explosive that is packed with sharpnels, what is the aim? The aim, Dr. Singh, is to cause as much damage and death as possible. So if there is one thing that will counter the terror angle theory, it will possibly be these non-shrapnel injuries, if at all. But again, bombs can be packed with different kinds of things. Mr. Jain, would you want to come in? If you want to, you would correct me, but that's my own sense. That's my limited knowledge that tells me that a bomb can be packed with multiple things, depending on what you want that blast to achieve.
RDX, where RDX is being used or certain advanced chemicals are being used, need not have sharpnels in that. You have the case of 1993 blast in Mumbai, where near the passport office, all this blast which took place, there was not even a single sharpnel in that. If at all there was a sharpnel, it was incidental, which was the car or the building or whatever it was. So it was the very explosion itself of that chemical, of that explosive, caused death and injury. So the shrapnel is a very, very crude bomb. Shrapnels are put in a very crude bomb. These kind of RDX bombs and all that, they're very advanced level and they cause maximum damage to life and limbs, even if they are exploded just like that. So let us keep that. I mean, shrapnels or crater not being formed, etc., are the things, because a crater is formed when it is a unidirectional bomb. It goes into the ground. Now, in this case, the car was wide open. So the impact of the blast would go on in all the directions. That is why you saw the cars running next to that particular vehicle were also damaged. So it is it is not a unidirectional bomb. It is a multi-directional bomb. It goes in all directions. So all these things, craters and sharpeners, etc., that doesn't prove anything. It is a blast which has been caused by very high intensity explosive, very advanced explosive, and it has, as I said, it's a very studied guess on my part. That it could be that the timing went wrong. It could be that the pencil which was used also went wrong. It's like that.
Okay, give me a moment here. There were people, as I said, this is one of Delhi's most congested areas. There were multiple eyewitnesses on the ground. We are hearing from one of them. Let's listen into what he's saying.
धर्मेंद्र, जब ब्लास्ट हुआ क्या देखा और जो नंबर प्लेट की बात कर रहे हैं, कौन सी गाड़ी की नंबर प्लेट थी वो? गाड़ी की नहीं बता सकता कौन सी, पर ये बता सकता हूँ प्राइवेट गाड़ी है वो, प्राइवेट नंबर की प्लेट थी उसमें जो बची थी, और HR 26 करके कुछ गाड़ी है, हरियाणा की गाड़ी है। नदीम खान नाम है उसका ओनर का, जो गाड़ी की मैंने चेक करवाई है हैंड टू हैंड वहीं जिसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ। 7674 लास्ट का डिजिट है उसका। तो ये नंबर किसने चेक किया था? पुलिस ने चेक किया, आपने चेक किया था? मैंने चेक करा था, मैं जब बॉडी उठा ली है उसके बाद चेक करा है कि इसमें ब्लास्ट हुआ। जिसमें गाड़ी को तो हमें पता था इस गाड़ी में ब्लास्ट हुआ, आधी वहाँ पड़ी आधी हट गई थी।
मैं उसके पीछे चल रहा था
कार के। तो कितने लोग सवार थे उस गाड़ी में, कुछ पता चला?
होंगे 4-5, कई जने वैसे ही चल गए आसपास में जो थे वो फटे।
कितनी गाड़ियाँ डैमेज हुई हैं यहाँ पे? कितनी?
2-3 गाड़ी।
वो जो कार सवार थे उनकी क्या हालत कैसी है?
कुछ तो गंभीर है, 8-10 तो गंभीर है, 20-25 जनों को वैसे चोट आई है उनके जैसे खींचड़ों से, और कुछ हाथों हाथ खत्म।
कितने बजे घटना घटी?
7 बजे या 7 बजे।
Okay, we've heard eyewitness accounts there, Major General Dhruv Katoj. Again, most eyewitnesses seem to be saying the same thing. It was a slow-moving car. It was an I-20. There were more than one people inside the car. No one is sure how many. Some are saying 3, some are saying many. It stops at a red light and then it suddenly blows up. So as far as eyewitnesses are concerned, their accounts have been more or less consistent.
Shreya, when a vehicle is moving on the road and there's heavy traffic, I would not really take any eyewitness's account as authentic. It is possible, yes, it may be right, but it doesn't really work that way. Everybody's concentrating on the road, the people who are there. And it's there's a mass movement. We really are not concentrating on any one particular vehicle. But a few things really come out, which I said earlier. One, if there is more than one person in that vehicle, it doesn't make sense to me that it's going to be a suicide attack. It doesn't work that way. One. Number two, it is quite possible that an explosive was placed in a particular vehicle designed to go off at a particular time. There may have been somebody initiating that bomb nearby. That, okay, we have placed this bomb in this vehicle. When this vehicle comes here, we blow it off. Which can explain more than one people. Also, there are multiple possibilities, and the owner of the vehicle possibly may not even know that there's a bomb in his vehicle.
Absolutely.
We really don't know what has happened. But the one point which I am convinced about, it is a terror attack.
Okay.
What we don't know is how it took place and why it took place. But to say that it is just simply an explosion or something, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, I have seen vehicles on fire. They just go on fire. They don't explode.
Correct.
This has exploded.
Correct. And as I said, vehicles these days don't simply blow up. They don't simply blow up. It's as simple as that. They're that advanced. I'm going across to my colleague Bhavtosh, who is with us. He's at the blast site. And this is where forensic teams and the NIA teams, I believe, Bhavtosh, are already at work. Could you tell us and show us what exactly is happening there?
Yes, Shreya, in fact, I will cut straight into the visuals. It's now nearly 5 hours, and you can see that the one in the white coat, long coat, is a forensic expert, along with other bomb detection personnel from the NSG. They are also there. You can also see personnel from CRPF. They have also come here. So there are several officers from different units who are here. But most important, if I can ask my VJ to zoom the camera on the car. That's the car that has completely been blown off. The mangled remains of the cars are there. This is the the place where which has been set up by the NSG, where they are in fact sitting there analyzing the explosives and also the parts of the explosives that have which is in the air. They have the equipment to analyze that, and you can see the one wearing the orange jackets or flak jackets are the one who are from the forensic department, from the CFSL. So all units, all possible units which are required at a crime scene, they are all here. In fact, all of them are here. I can again ask my VJ to be on the visuals, to stay on the visuals. That's what has happened in past 5 years. No one has moved from the spot. They're all analyzing the spot. Is it a terror attack? Officially, no one has said anything. Is it a CNG car blast? They would not have stayed for that long if it is an accidental CNG blast. We have covered enough of these CNG blasts. Never ever in place or a spot is barricaded and such detailed analysis is done. For an agencies like NSG or for CFSL to stay for so long along with CRPF personnel, along with the Commissioner of Delhi Police to continuously visit a spot clearly means that something has gone wrong, horribly wrong. And that's the reason why these units or these senior officers are still stationed here even as we speak, because the first call was made at 18:56 hours and it is now midnight.
Okay, Bhavtosh, do stay on with us. We are now getting more updates on this story. The impact